This June, SpaceX is preparing a stock market debut designed to raise as much as $75 billion. A figure of that size would make it the largest initial public offering ever recorded, exceeding the debuts of the world's most established tech and energy giants. Usually, an IPO of this magnitude follows a strict Wall Street script. Massive institutional banks and hedge funds negotiate for exclusive access to the primary shares before they ever hit the open market. In this traditional system, the average investor is an afterthought, typically forced to wait until the insiders have already secured their positions. Market logic suggests a $75 billion event would be the ultimate members-only club for the financial elite. However, reports from meetings with bankers indicate that SpaceX is planning to deviate from that standard playbook. The company intends to reserve a massive portion of these shares specifically for retail investors, the everyday people usually shut out of these deals. This move would effectively bypass the legacy institutions, shifting the primary access to the individual level. To understand why a company engineering a record-breaking financial windfall would prioritize individual access over institutional backing, we have to look past the trading floor and toward the lunar surface. NASA is currently preparing the Artemis II mission, the first crewed flight to the moon in over 50 years. The crew is tasked with flying far past the far side of the moon, a journey that will set a new record for the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from Earth. They will be navigating an environment that has remained untouched by human presence since the mid-1970s. This mission marks the end of a long period where deep space exploration was mostly the domain of robotic probes and low Earth orbit research. Artemis II isn't just a flight. It's the primary driver returning the moon to the center of global public attention. The momentum of these new missions is reviving the specific brand of global wonder that defined the original Apollo era. For decades, that sense of possibility was largely dormant, but it's being reawakened by the prospect of a permanent human presence in space. That optimism is now finding a home in the private sector, as enthusiasm for space transit reaches heights not seen in half a century. This chart shows commercial space economy growth over the last 10 years. The upward line tracks billions flowing into private launch services and satellite networks, pointing directly toward the $75 billion valuation SpaceX is seeking today. This figure is the market's calculation of how much capital can be mobilized when public interest aligns with commercial aerospace infrastructure. This is why bypassing Wall Street's gatekeepers is a strategic choice rather than a simple gesture. SpaceX has built the infrastructure required to dominate this new economy, but they still need massive amounts of capital to reach Mars. Since the general public is the source of the renewed interest in space, the company is choosing to capture that energy directly. By offering shares to retail investors, SpaceX converts public inspiration into a practical fundraising mechanism. It aligns the emotional appeal of exploration with the practical requirements of large-scale capital investment. This June IPO marks a departure from how space exploration has been funded and owned for the last 60 years. In this moment, a primary launch provider is choosing to link its valuation directly to the wider public market. Exploration is moving out of the exclusive domain of government agencies and billionaires. For the first time, a tangible stake in the next phase of human spaceflight will be available in the investment portfolios of everyday people.